tough.
I don't know why it cut off.
Hey,
Yeah,
Instagram. So we go just they manage them, they go, because especially when we have groups, they try, to observe their community guidelines. But we are here, Dr. Stephen. So you were saying, by the way, the topic today is giving and tithing as a Christian professional and entrepreneur. And this is a highly sought after debate. And we have Dr. Stephen Akintayo in the building.
They are still alive. And your argument and your fights cannot take the place of them correcting themselves. For example, what you have been saying does not change those who believe that Jesus says, tithing, you don't tithe, you go to hell. They will go to hell. Some people believed it until he corrected himself. It doesn't matter how much you argue it from now to tomorrow. So it's better that God touched him by himself. And he has come out to say, look, this part of it, right, is wrong. However, tithing is biblical. And you and I know in the scriptures where it clearly says all scriptures, right? And this is the New Testament, are given by the inspiration of the Almighty, right? And so
all scripture is God-breathed.
Yes.
I know.
And you are free to either say, oh, I want to stick to Old Testament, or I want to stick to New Testament. It's your choice. And I'm not even going to go into that argument with you. It's your choice. But here is what's important. Is it a practice in the Bible? Remember that Christianity came from Judaism.
Absolutely.
Right? And so, and you cannot, like Yoruba will say, inu koko dudu leko funfun tin jade. Certain things may look like it's old, right? But it's out of the old that a new one comes out. And Jesus himself said he has not come, right, to condemn the law, but to fulfill the law. So yes, there are certain aspects of Judaism that we don't practice as Christians. But is it biblical? Yes, it's biblical. Now, let's go into even the New Testament. What did Jesus himself say about tithing? One of the things he says is that you have handled you've left the heavier matters. And I'm sure it's part of what you are familiar with, that scripture.
Matthew 23, verse 23.
I know.
The Bible is in my head.
You've left the heaviest matter of the law, right?
Yeah.
And you are taking the little matter. Now, Jesus did not in any way say that was not important. He only said that it wasn't as important as love, as righteousness, as holiness, which is true, because these are what we call the core doctrines of the Bible that determine you can believe God for prosperity and for blessing. And I'm a recipient of that, right? Now, we started a new generation where people believe in tithing and they started giving, right? Now, what happened to those generations? Because sometimes we don't give context to it. I was a member of Winners Chapel, for example, for many, many years. And I have been through different phases of my life before I became this financially successful. And I have seen how the church had come to our rescue, even as a family. When my mother died, my late mother died of cancer. We did not have 800 naira to take her to hospital to take care of her. Where did I carry my mother for prayers? It was still church. When she died, and even her biological siblings, same father, same mother, the only house she had, told us we cannot bury my mother because the house belonged to them. 1 naira they did not give. Who rallied around? Burial, everything. It was still the church. Our last born was due to go to university. My mother had died. I just graduated. My older brother too wasn't doing well, right? He needed to go to school. Who paid my brother's school fees for 5 years? It wasn't even the church. Bishop Oyedepo paid for him and 100 others. Personally. He will not come and do newspaper article about it. He will not do video about it. It's his own personal belief. Some of us who are close to him or who follow his belief always wonder why. But a man's belief is a man's belief. But I can bring to you that it frees hundreds of people who are graduates today, either because Oyedepo paid for it or Winners Chapel as a church paid for it. People talk about Covenant University. Oh, they are running a university and church members cannot afford it. Are you aware that the freeze that till today, Covenant University has not chunked out 1 kobo as profit? Covenant University is still being subsidized till tomorrow. Many people think education is cheap. But when you and I come to UK, we are paying £30,000 for a degree. When we go to US, we are paying $30,000, $50,000 for a degree. Are you aware that most of the universities in America are owned by church and they still charge that high? What they have done, if you're a church member, right?
Go ahead.
You can apply for some discount. You can apply for some scholarship, and that happens in Winners. You can apply because you're a church member. And like I told you, my own brother did not pay 1 naira school fees, 5 years, Landmark University. He's a church member, right? Okay. And I'm giving context now. Some people got angry. Bishop Oyedepo did his 70th birthday. Some people gave him Rolls Royce. Some people gave him this. Some people gave him that. Where did some of these pastors become rich? Many of them impacted the lives of people like me. I'm one of them. And as we moved up the ladder, we remember people God used to help us when we were nothing. And we go back and sow seeds. Many of such pastors, however, and I say I wish they did otherwise. We use those seeds, they will buy houses, they had investment, and they manage it well. And so they live some of the best lives people think is church money. Are you aware Bishop Oyedepo has not been on salary of Winners Chapel since 1987? 1 kobo. If Bishop Oyedepo prints something on A4 paper, he buys his A4 paper with his personal money. Right? So when
I
you
want
see
to ask, and the personal money came from where? Because you said that he quit his job to join
like
the church.
Us who were blessed, who sold to him, who regularly, some of us place our pastors on a monthly salary from what we make. And when you are pastoring at the level of millions, you know what I mean? Your friend Pastor Toby asked me the same question when I was in his house in London. When you pastor millions, right? When all of them sold to you on a regular basis, Oga, you're a billionaire, mortal. And like I said, many of them also were investing, and it didn't start today. Many of them, it was books they wrote and people read. The man who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. After I became successful, I went to meet the guy, and I did something with him, and I paid $25,000 just deep in my heart as a thank you, because that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, turned my life around making money and wealth. I don't know whether you understand. Many of these people have been writing books since '86 that they freeze. People read those books. It changed their lives. It's just the same thing with you. There are people who today will donate towards your cause because somehow, some way, some things you've shared help them, right? And that's how many of the pastors have built wealth. However, like I said, I wish they communicated it so that people knew where the money is coming from, where the source is coming from. But I can tell you authoritatively, at least for Winners Chapel, I've been Winners for over 20 years. 1 kobo of the church money has never entered Bishop Oyedepo's account. I can tell you that authoritatively on that one.
Okay.
Now, there are people...
Stephen, sorry, let's break it because at the end of the day,
let's break.
It will just because this, like you said, is a debate, is a conversation.
Go ahead.
First things first, with the formula that you said Bishop Oyedepo uses, he invests in people and people give him gifts.
Yes.
There's really nothing wrong with that. But I want us to address the points you raised about tithing. You said it is scriptural. I agree.
Yes. Yes, nobody is arguing that with you.
Now,
Nobody is
like
arguing that
minutes.
with you.
I don't go use past 3 minutes. Now,
nobody they argue that. Because I don't want to.
Stephen, if you say tithing is biblical, which I have agreed and I've shared the Bible verse that supports tithing, the tithe they are collecting in church today, is it the way the Bible instructed it?
You don't forget that the phrase. Why the topic of today's conversation? Because the topic is to
when it comes to the business part.
The topic today was to share, based on what has worked for me, understanding of tithing and giving as a professional and as an entrepreneur, based on what has worked for me. I believe in tithing.
Okay.
Right?
It doesn't exist. I have quoted the scriptures on tithe. I have quoted the script. Now, let me now tell you why I personally believe that tithe brings a curse. If you read the book, Dr. Stephen, I'm proving to you now.
Your 5 minutes is up. Your 5 minutes is up.
After this, I swear to God, I will talk again.
There's no 2 more minutes. Because if you tell me tithe brings a curse, I believe in tithe. I'll be tithe at my cost. My finances is way better than those who are not tithing. But give me a second.
Okay.
One of the things that I felt why I brought this argument up is that, number one, the church in Nigeria and Africa has to emphasize on empowering members to manage whatever money is left after they are given, whether you believe in tithing or not. Number two, it was important to emphasize that even what that the Jew was able to explain is that tithing, nobody is compelling you to tithe anymore. And even made mention of it to say, if your pastor don't believe in tithing, don't tithe. If you believe in tithing, go to where they believe in tithing and tithe. There's no need for this argument. The argument, I think, will benefit your audience and my audience the most, Daddy Freeze, is the argument of how can the Nigerian church help an average church member to become prosperous? How do people take seriously their financial destiny so that whether you believe in tithing, you don't believe in tithing, you are financially stable, and it's a choice. I am glad to sow. I am glad to give. It's from the depth of my heart. It has helped me. It has turned my life around. Where Elon Musk or no Elon Musk, I have done well for myself than many people have. However, it wasn't just because I'm a tither. It's also because I decided to invest what was left. The same energy you used to talk about tithing, right? I wish you can use that same energy, right, to disturb your members, to say, can they invest? Can they build something? Because if you are rich, Oga, tithing is not the argument. Though. Me now, right? My argument is not whether to pay 10% or not. This argument is for poor person. If you have the money and wish to do the tithing, who is stopping you? Right? And my argument, first of all, is that if you believe certain principle, part of it is tithing, the principle of you sow, you reap. And for me, and I'm sharing my experience, you've shared yours, Daddy Free, so let me talk.
I don't go talk again.
My experience is giving and tithing is one of the spiritual principles that has helped me to build wealth. In addition to the fact that I invested my remaining 90%. I'm saying this personally on behalf of the body of Christ that I'm also a member of and I've also been a victim of. Many of the people revolting against the church were church people before, including you, Daddy Freeze. You're a minister where you used to be. And many felt cheated. Many felt hurt. Many felt the way issues were handled were not right. Daddy Freeze. I did an article and I said, God bless Daddy Gio for apologizing publicly, because that is what fathers do. That's what leaders do. Because what he has done isn't just an example of the conversation between, do you go to heaven or go to hell because of tithes, but it has also shown an example to other pastors that they should be able to come out and say, I was wrong, I made mistake.
Yeah, you've heard all that, right? I kind of like the fact that it's not a pastor that has come out to discuss this, but a billionaire that has come out to explain his own experience as regarding to his position to tithing and how tithing has helped him. And he has just given some clear evidence, because a lot of people have had that misconceptions that those that are paying tithe, they don't do well, they don't do this, they are not living well. But at least, thank God, he has come out to speak as regarding to how God has blessed him as a result of tithing. So guys, I just want you to understand that it has its own benefit too. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, leave it, and let those that want to do it, do it. Thank you guys for watching this video, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel.